Isn't it amazing? I got the whole room all to myself. I kicked David out, told him he could take the day off because he runs solo so often and does such a great job. And I really do appreciate having a good partner at this. And we've been doing this over 5 years. And we've been bringing stories and topics that have been racially, politically, and socially charging since the very beginning. And I think David once clocked us as like 800 episodes or more. And I'm not keeping track. It's been a great ride. Welcome, everybody, to the Rant Network. It's a go-to podcast, unfiltered, unapologetic discussion with just myself today. Hosted by myself, Stuart Briscoe, and typically with David Solomon. We tackle a diverse range of topics with candid conversation and bold opinions. Whether it's breaking down the latest headlines, exploring pop culture, debating politics, or delving into complexities of modern life, we offer a platform for every perspective. So grab a seat, settle in on another thought-provoking rant. But I'm going to kind of really mix this up quite a bit. I'm typically always picking on things and hating on people. And David tries to, meter and temper me. And today, he's not here to temper me. Today, I'm going to do something that some of you like or don't like. It's to talk about Bitcoin. There's a podcast somewhere floating out in the World Wide Web with me claiming it's not a store of value, claiming it's an anarchist instrument, and claiming that I'm not a personal investor into owning my own wallets and stuff. And that hasn't changed. But I'm going to start off with a comprehensive analysis of where it came from. Because I just got back from Las Vegas, Nevada at the Bitcoin 2025 conference, and I'll let you know what that was about. But let's first start. Bitcoin is the first decentralized cryptocurrency. It's transformed the globe and the landscape, and it was created in 2009 by a pseudonym of a person named Satoshi Nakamoto. And the novel brought a problem to the world. When you talk about a problem, there's normally a solution. But in this case, this problem and this resolution have caused a world of decentralization nightmares, also known as the blockchain. This report provided an in-depth analysis to the foundation of economic principles, dynamic markets, and evolving a financial system. The emergence of Bitcoin represents a pivotal moment in history of a money and finance as it decentralized everyone's currency. Bitcoin changes the traditional roles of government and financial institutions, issuing and regulating money, M1 fiat currency. The underlying technology offers transparency, security, and resistance to censorship. This is and has profound implications for businesses, individuals, and governments around the world. We don't know who wrote the white paper peer-to-peer electronic cash system in 2008. In January 2009, Nakamoto mined the first block, called Genesis block, of the Bitcoin blockchain. This began the decentralization. So now let's get a little history going here. If you're keeping up with me, great. If you're ahead of me, even better. And if you're not, PM me and I'll send you some more information. In 2010, it's the first recorded transaction for 10,000 Bitcoins for 2 pizzas. Now, I just want you to understand something. Today, 10,000 Bitcoins, right, at $100,000 is how much money? Yep. In 2011, 2013, Bitcoin grew to an exchange. Mr. Gox increased merchant options and awareness. 2017 is the first bull run where the coin reached almost 20,000. 2021 it was institutionally accepted by Tesla MicroStrategies, adding it to their balance sheet. So now we know a little history. Now, what is this whole thing? At the core, it's blockchain. What is blockchain? A distributed ledger that records all transactions in a chronological chain. It's called a block. And it's linked to a cryptographic hashes. The structure ensures immutability, and once block is added, it cannot be altered without remining subsequent blocks. Then there's what's called a POW, proof of work. Bitcoin consensus mechanics requires miners to resolve complex puzzles, expanding computational energy to validate transactions and add new blocks. This secures against symbol attacks and doubling spending. Here's the kicker. It decentralizes the global with no central authority controlling it. That means the US government, Canadian government, European government, Banana Republic can't do a damn thing. And it enhances censorship resistance. Now, if you live in Canada, we all know what happened to the truckers in Ottawa. Fixed supply. Kind of like the EU, unlike the US, there's only 21 million coins that will ever exist. Not that they're not subdivided or have been lost until quantum computers can restore them, but there's only a finite supply. And every Bitcoin ownership is backed by public and private cryptography. And its open source governance allows the development within the blockchain. So let's go review. Scarcity of 21 million. Scheduled supply, in other words, it wasn't all released at the same time. Incentives to people to mine it that provide economic growth. Transaction costs have a base layer and can have higher transaction fees, but then you pay for congestion time. Store of value versus medium of exchange. Now, here is where we have challenges. Bitcoin is so volatile that it has limited uses as a daily currency, but it's a property against inflation. It's a currency debasement and geopolitical risk driven its appeal as a quasi store of value. And sometime in the future, we're going to look back at this period and probably say Bitcoin was commoditized. Now, the price history from 2009 to present goes from nearly nothing to today, $105,947.48 by the time this broadcast comes live. Institutions started getting involved in 2020, and the regulators are turned on their head. They don't know what to do. As a financial advisor, I got to talk to lawyers all the time because even I don't know what I can and can't do. Because it's like been a plug on AML and KYC compliance. What is AML? Anti-money laundering. KYC, know your client. These are the cornerstones of the financial institutions around the world. Anti-money laundering and know your client. This is the principle of securities and law. And decentralizing the currency means you're removing the taxation and regulatory environment. So let's go. There's an opportunity to make money, but it comes at a risk. It can be scalable. It's institution adopted. There's geopolitical roles. There's regulatory clarity. There's technological innovations. I mean, let's understand this. There's a lot of meat on this thing called Bitcoin. So now let me sort of flip over to the other side. As I started this rant, I told you I'm just back from Vegas. The Bitcoin conference was held May 27th, and it goes till tomorrow. I came back early. And it's been hailed as the most influential gathering of crypto space people in the planet. And this year, I witnessed nearly 40,000 people. And you'd wonder who would go to this crypto conference, Techo Deeks, No. How about the vice president of the United States? Last year was a president of the United States. We've had Eric Trump, Donald Trump. You had Nigel Farage from the UK. You had Michael Saylor from MicroStrategies. You had art galleries. You had massage therapists. You had accountants and lawyers, people offering custodial care, software, mining equipment. It was insane. And you know what? I think I'll go back next year. So have I bought a crypto cone? Have I become a crypto monster? The answer is no. Do I own and do I have clients own MicroStrategies and others like that? Yes, absolutely. Because like most people, we can't be left out of the entire problem, but you must be prudent. Like everything, it can't be everything. And anything is got to be reviewed and scrutinized. So when you listen to this podcast, and if you've made it to this entire end, thank you. Have I given you any information? Maybe. And it's not a typical rant. Because you know what? I don't have anything positive or negative. It was all informative. It was learning, understanding, trying to look at a new culture from a new group of people. People that you would be unseemingly lucky who bought things at $20 and $40, $100, $200, as they thought it was cool. And today they're worth $200 million or more. It is mind-boggling. And the trade is like the Wild West. So like everything in modern and past, people will always be there to try and take advantage of you. There will be snake oil salesmen selling hair growth, which clearly I might need some, as well as fake fiat currency. It's no different. Be smart, be wise. Don't have blind faith. Don't invest outside of your means. And please don't put all your eggs in one basket. Because to be honest with you, though you have seen a massive gain over the last decade, that doesn't mean it will continue. Now, it's my belief you should always take money off the table. Always grab the principal and call it a day. Let the house money make more money and take your profit regularly and often. The argument is, I lost out. That advice sucked, Mr. Stewart. And you know what? It might suck if it continues to soar northwards, as I think it might. And so does most of the community for that matter. But at the end of the day, I'd rather have a couple of eggs in a basket to make an omelet than lose the chicken that laid the egg. Guys, on that note, that brings this little monologue about Bitcoin to an end. And we truly appreciate you tuning in. And I truly miss my partner, David. This engagement means everything to us. A thought-provoking conversation, maybe. Time will tell. Look forward to seeing you next week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, noon Eastern, where the duo will be back to rant and rave about